Hello, this is Chris Frew with BioBuzz at the QNova LifeSciences Forum here in San Francisco at JP Morgan Healthcare Week. Excited to sit down with Chris Danek, CEO at Bessel. Chris, thanks for joining me today.
It's my pleasure.
So I'm excited to talk to you a little bit. Before we just jump into the meat of everything, tell us a little bit about Bessel and what you do.
Yeah, Bessel helps medtech companies scale and accelerate their impact by focusing on combination of agile teamwork, domain expertise, and bringing forward their technologies.
So when you think about startups, you work with a lot of them, right? So what are some of the main reasons why you see startups failing or not moving forward?
I think it goes back to the very earliest days, because when I think about startups that are trying to drive a medtech innovation, this could be a medical device, a diagnostic, it could be AI in healthcare, any bio tools. You really have to deeply understand the problem we're solving. And once you've deeply understood that problem we're solving, that gives you the ability to articulate the ideal solution. Of course, we put clinicians at the center of what we're doing. It's the most important thing for startups to do, not to get too excited or fall too in love with their early ideas. I don't mean first idea, I mean iterating many ideas and improving their solution concept to do a reality check and understand if they're really delivering on these guiding lights that the ideal solution is laying out for them. Once that's done, then it's time to push the go fast button.
So, I mean, is that one of the main mistakes you see companies make? They go fast they move forward too fast, or what is it in those early days that you often see people missing on?
One of the biggest problems is having an excellent solution concept that addresses some number of the criteria you establish for the ideal solution, and thinking that you can develop that later or develop something that will accommodate that, instead of saying, I may need to go back to a clean sheet of paper until I've defined a solution concept that will really work. And when we talk about that, we're really thinking about all of the criteria of the clinical application, the technical delivery of this, all the way into the things that are specific in medtech around quality and regulatory, the clinical path that you need to follow and their clinical regulatory strategy, all the way into go-to-market. And more so now than ever before, companies really need to be concerned about their commercialization from the first days of their company. And I see that investors now who used to take proxy information for the path into commercial are looking for a seed stage company, very well thought out go-to-market commercialization plans. And as companies move towards selling, looking at actual traction and not taking proxies like you have a great solution that's been vetted by the clinicians, you have a great leadership team, and of course it's execution from here. So those are really some of the things. And we're in such a complex industry that it's hard to narrow it down to just one thing, but I would say it's skipping steps. If you are tempted to skip a step to go faster, you're usually going to pay for it down the road.
Yeah. The bar for investment is higher than it's ever been before. And you mentioned that it's important for them to think about commercialization earlier than before. Why has commercialization moved so farther upstream into where they have to think about it?
I think it's a combination of things, and it relates to what investors, venture investors, and also acquirers look at more. And this flows all the way back down to the earliest angels who invest, because they know the things that need to be demonstrated in the future. I think the other thing is the healthcare environment is more challenging than ever to sell into because of the correct pressure to demonstrate value, which means outcomes, safety, workflow improvements, and so forth, and overall take cost out of the healthcare system. And we have to balance and judge many stakeholders. It's not enough to make 2 or 3 stakeholders a winning proposition. clinicians, hospital system, payers, regulators. We're really solving a puzzle from the earliest stage of how we can make all of these different constraints and stakeholders kind of work well together.
So I'd love to hear how you, like, an ideal client for you. How do you engage, and what does that look like over time? Are you working with the founder and idea, or at what point does a company or a founder really bring you in?
We work with companies, founders, and startup leadership teams throughout the life cycle of the company. The highest value, highest stakes engagements that we have are for companies that are in early commercialization of their technology. And the reason is that the stakes are the highest, both from a financial aspect, but also from a compliance, quality, and regulatory aspect. And I can tell you two ways we usually come into a company to really help them out. One is the sustaining and support of the first generation. Often the device needs improvements. We may learn of these only in a broader distribution in the real world. Assume the company is drowning in complaints and doesn't have the capacity to work on it. Usually the team that works on the analysis and defining the root cause and disposition of those is trying to focus on the delivery of the second generation or next generation product. So you get this overwhelmed state where the team knows what it has to do and just isn't able to get it done. So we focus on how the work is done through agile teamwork and some other very simple changes that we can implement with teams that gives them more breathing room, makes them more productive, and these gains and the improvement in their capability as a team means that they can get more and more done and really show that. Another case is a commercialization of a first gen technology where the company needed to deliver the second gen, and they had to do it on a milestone to meet a milestone for their acquisition payment. And they were really in a gridlock on the project. We focused the agile teamwork and working with the team really on the delivery of their manufacturing transfer to a contract manufacturer. So almost like two sides of one coin, quality and sustaining of the first gen, or development, rapid innovation and development and agile teamwork to go through finalizing the design and the manufacturing transfer of a next gen.
Yeah, I can imagine the pressure that a company gets put on when it's getting pushed from both of those angles. To have an expert at the table to help them navigate that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your company? Kind of your background, like how it got started. Love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so my background is close to 30 years in experience in medical device design and diagnostics and next generation sequencing. Really, on my personal level, have had a lot of experience in either program delivery, which is more than project management. It requires cross-functional leadership, and as well as focusing on defining the target and hitting the target, more so than on schedules and coordination and so forth. The second thing is that the story of Bessel is unique because I have been doing independent consulting, and I really enjoy being able to work with multiple teams and create very high value. Another part that we haven't discussed is that I went back and for the past 8 years have been teaching at universities like Santa Clara University. I'm a adjunct and have been involved with the healthcare innovation and design program there. In the work that I've done with teams at institutions kind of across the U.S. and even in Mexico, focusing on project-based learning, I realized that what I brought to the university classroom to help students learn how we work in the university, in the real world, is actually a value in industry. And that's why we started Bessel. It was this focus on the team and how to intervene and work with and boost the performance of teams. We realized that's a unique point of view and something special we can bring. So we really focus on teams and helping teams deliver, whether it's startups, scaling startups, or even development teams from, say, a Fortune 50 company.
That's critical. I've seen that. I work with a lot of early stage companies as myself, and especially in the early days when companies grow, and just adding 2 or 3 or 4 more people to the team, the dynamics change quite a bit. You need to have that strong team foundation and the right playbook in place that you can grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What are you excited about the year to come here in 2026?
Well, to me, it's all about build to scale and helping companies who are early commercial realize this vision that they have for impact. And if you're going to create a breakthrough, it means you have to sustain and scale your technology to create impact. Tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands to millions of patients, and as well providing economic return to the company that's delivering. So we have to focus on the voice of the customer and the voice of the business.
That's great. We're here at the QNova LifeSciences Forum. Tell me about your experience with the QNova and their team.
Yeah, so I've worked with QNova and partnered with them last year, and I found they convene an excellent community here at JP Morgan with their forum. And I was introduced to them through MTEC. We happen to be an MCore service provider, which means we're vetted by MTEC and provide services to their members. And I'm very proud of that and the dual use mission that MTEC has.
That's great. I hear this over and over again, and we're seeing this live here, is the ecosystem and how critical it is, and the trust that it gets established between partners. It does take a village to bring these companies' products to patients. And what you just talked about is like a really good live example of that.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, my response to the ecosystem is I like to focus on the community part of it. Mm-hmm. So ecosystem also means capital and bringing it to bear. It means infrastructure and support. But the community of all the different people that you just mentioned is what we thrive on and what helps our innovations actually make it forward to the benefit of patients.
I love that. Community is at the heart of what we do at BioBuzz, so you're speaking our language.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, excited
to
talk with you today about everything you're doing and how you're helping to really bring new products to market.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. This is Chris with BioBuzz.